Hello and welcome to this video on indexing and string slicing. So in the previous video about strings, we had talked about a topic of how to access the letters inside a string using index, right? So in this we'll be discussing a further about what indexing is and also what slicing. So without further ado, let's get coding. Okay, let's open up our VS Code and create a file called indexing underscore slicing. So that's my file name that I've created. And so let's discuss what is indexing first. So let us have a variable called string1 that has the information young underscore rocket. I'm sorry, rocket. Yeah, so I'll save this, and now when I run this I should get no output here. And what I've basically done is I've given this information to this particular variable, and how am I going to access the letters inside the variable is where I use the index. So I'll give the variable name, that is a string1, and a square brackets, and inside the square brackets I'm going to give a number. For example, let's say 3, right? So I will print this. So I'll put this inside my print statement and I'll run this. I'll save and run. Yeah. As you can see, I'm getting the output as n, right? So where did this n come from? So as you can see in young rocket, there's an n here, right? Which is like 1, 2, 3, fourth letter. But I've given here as 3. So why am I getting the fourth letter? So basically indexing in strings starts from 0, right? So string open bracket close bracket, and inside if you give 0 you'll get y, and o is 1, u is 2, n is 3. So once I put 3 I get n, right? So this is how indexing works. And one more thing that we need to understand is there are two types of indexing, right? So let me write it here. So types of indexing, so we have positive and negative, right? So what does positive negative mean? Now this number that we're giving inside, it can also be a negative number, but it doesn't make sense, right? How can a position be a negative number? So let's check it out. Let's do a small experiment where in string1 we give the letter as minus, let's say 1. Okay, we'll start with the smallest number. Let's say we're giving it as -1, and I'm going to save this and I'm going to run this. I'll clear the output. I will run this. So what am I getting? I'm getting this n and I'm getting a t. So where did this t come from? As you can see, there's only one t in young rocket and that is at the end. So what exactly this means? So negative indexing is nothing but the count of the position of the letter that is starting from the end. For example, if I give -1, I'm getting the first letter from the end, that is t. And if I give -2, now what should we get according to that logic? We should be getting our e, right? So we'll check that out once, and yes, after n we get the e. So this is how you can reference letters inside the string. This is called indexing, and we saw that there are positive and negative indexing. So the next thing we'll be seeing is slicing, right? So what is slicing? Slicing basically, so let's put a heading called slicing, right? And so what slicing basically is that so what if I want, let's say now I have string1 of 3, so I'm getting the third letter. So what if I want the first 3 letters, right? Or maybe let's say I want I want the letters starting from position 3 to position 5, right? So these are called substrings. A smaller part of a string is called a substrings. So slicing would be the process or the method to get substrings, right? So substrings is nothing but a part of an already existing string. Now let us say I want young alone, right? So in young rocket I want young alone. So 1 2 3 4 5, so I have 5 letters. So what I'm supposed to do is first reference the variable string1, and inside string1 I will give two colons, right? So these two colons are nothing but they separate three different arguments. So the first argument would be, where is my substring starting from? Now my substring is starting from 0, right? So I'll give it a 0. And where is it ending? So it's ending at 6. So 0 to 6 would be 5. I'm sorry, 0 to 4, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 0 to 4 would be 5 characters. And the third argument would be step. So this step is something that we have seen in is something that we use in for loop also. So step is nothing but the count of which you need to skip the letters when you're counting, right? So for example, if I give the step as 1, which means I will skip the letters one by one, right? So after y I'll go to o, after o I'll go to u, right? So what if I give the step as 2? Now we need to skip two letters at once. So for example, after y we will directly go to u, right? So that is what step means. So if you change the step, it means you are skipping letters. And so I need I need to traverse the string one by one. So I will give the step as 1. I will save this and I will comment out these print functions. We don't need them right now. I will save this and let's clear the output, and I'm running it, right? Okay, so I haven't put this in a print statement. So always make sure whatever function you're doing, make sure there's a print statement so you can observe the output, right? So as you can see, I have youn. Okay, so the problem that we face here is young is something that we need to get, but the indexing is such a way that this would be until which letter we need to get, not including that particular letter. So if I want the fourth index, I need to give it as 5, right? So now that we understand, we'll do that again. And yes, I got young right here. Okay, so I hope you understand what slicing is, right? So now we can actually experiment with the step. So I'll change the step to 2. So now what I should get is, I should get y, I should get u, I should get g, right? So we'll see how this works. I'll clear the output, run it again, and yes, y, u, and g, exactly what we predicted, right? So now we have a complete understanding of what indexing and slicing is. So let's take let's take an example of a string, right? So let's take string 2. So this is probably, to make you understand what are the practical use cases of this particular slicing and indexing. So let us give a value for the string 2. So let's give it as the other one, which is my name. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my slice here. I mean, indexing and slice together. So in slice, we are actually using the indexing here, right? So slice and indexing go hand in hand. So what I'm going to do is I am going to print first, right? So whatever result we're getting, we need to print that. Okay, so string 2, and I'm going to perform a slicing operation in it. So I'll put 2 colons there, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the step, right, as the step as -1. Now we know that the indexing is done both positive and negative, right? So what if I give my step as -1? Let's see what happens. And once we understand, I mean, once we see the output, we'll try to understand how it came. Yeah, as you can see, this is the output that we have. So what does this mean? This is basically the string that we gave entirely in reverse order, right? So this is the order that we gave it in, and this is in reverse. So what does this mean? So this is actually a very useful use case where you can use the slicing to, instantly reverse a string, right? So our string, actually, I have not given any starting and ending point, which means the default starting and ending point would be the starting and ending of the entire string. So it starts from v and goes till n. Now -1 is nothing but the step is going in reverse, so that is what it means. Now if I give -2, the output that we are expecting would be, it'll start with n, and every second letter from the reverse will be taken into account, right? So we will check that. Yes, so I have I have n r h a h i. So I sorry, it starts with n. So n, and the next thing would be r. So I'm skipping like to the second letter, and again the second letter, which is h, and again the second letter, which is a, and h, and I. So now you understand how slicing, indexing, and you know the use cases of these also. So hope you understood. See you in the next video. Thank you.